Hey, this is Joe from BBGeeks.com. Today we're going to go over how to install the BodyGuardz protector for your BlackBerry. What this does is it's a clear film that prevents against nicks and scratches, which is a problem with a lot of BlackBerries, especially for people who don't want different kinds of skins, especially like the rubber ones. They can get too bulky sometimes. So we're going to go over this. It's a really thin, easy way to take care of the problem. Now, because this is a liquid-based solution, they recommend you turn your BlackBerry off. And since we have to apply something to the battery cover, we're going to start by just popping that off, popping the battery out. That way, we can apply your BodyGuardz to the battery guard by itself and still fulfill the requirement of leaving your BlackBerry off for 12 hours. That's going to be a tough one, possibly a weekend project for some. Now what we're going to do first is wipe down the BlackBerry so that there's no dirt caught between the film and the BlackBerry, which would be bad because that would be permanent and it would look bad. So what I've done is I've applied a very, very minuscule amount of cleaner to a paper towel. I'm just going to give the old BlackBerry a rub down, making sure to get the tops and sides, and we're just trying to get the dust and dirt off so that when we apply this, it'll be smooth and easy and permanent, so that we don't have to try to do it again, because that seems like a huge pain. So as you can see, we have the battery cover here, and we have the film for the battery cover here. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the liquid applicator, apply only to device, do not use directly on the device, that's going to be bad. So we're just going to slide this out of the way for demonstration purposes while I remove the cap and spray this on my hands, as they so kindly asked me to do. When you are handling the application, what you don't want to do is have the film stick to you. That would be bad. Alright, so as we peel this back, what BodyGuardz asks us to do is start spraying. We want to spray film here. So this thing is nice and wet. And then we are going to try to fit it the first time. To the BlackBerry, and I was going to do it wrong there. I think it would probably be best to try to cover the top first, because that is where your camera hole is, and that's probably the best indicator. What you want to do is you want to get this as right as you possibly can the first time, because after 10 minutes it's going to dry something good, and you don't want to be doing this again after it dries. So we've got that there. Alright, what we're going to do from here is we're going to take this nice little squeegee that comes with the kit. We're going to hold that firmly in place and kind of glide as much moisture as we can out of here. Now you gotta be really careful when you're doing this, because this thing, if you use a lot of moisture like I did, it's probably a mistake. It's gonna slide around a lot. So what we want to do is kind of get that into as much place as possible, and squeeze out as much juice as possible, while maintaining the integrity. You don't want, as you can see, this is kind of going over the camera hole, which is probably the most important factor when you're doing this. And they say it's not a big deal if you leave some water under there. It'll become hazy, as they say, but that will correct itself within minutes, hours, and since you can't use your BlackBerry for 12 hours afterwards, it's not the biggest deal in the world. Alright, so now we've got this set. Got some liquid still under there, but it's not that big a deal. The most important part is that, we're hammering out any possible air bubbles. Those are going to be the worst, because if there's air bubbles, there's probably going to be trouble later on down the road. And as I said before, the last thing you want is for this thing to screw up, because it's decently permanent. So now that is applied to the back of the BlackBerry. And now we're going to repeat the process for the front of the BlackBerry, including the screen. And I don't know if you can get in that detail. Look how scratched my screen is. That's from keeping it in my pocket. Yeah, you can even see the nice camera reflection there. So my screen is all sorts of messed up. So, I just wiped this down, and those specks there, that's not dust. That's pretty much there. So I definitely want to get this done for my device. So we're going to peel back the film, making sure to get the BlackBerry out of the way so it doesn't get in the line of spray fire. And just kind of hose this thing off as before. I'm probably going to go a little bit lighter this time, knowing what I know, having done it already. Kind of spread that out a little bit so that we're not getting too much of the liquid. So maybe I don't have to turn my BlackBerry off for 12 hours. Line that up right over the trackball. Make sure that the ear hole lines up. That's going to be the most important part. I'd much rather have a small air bubble somewhere than have the ear hole slot miss the ear hole. Now we're just going to carefully squeegee some of this out, trying not to get it into the air hole. That's basically it. I'm going to squeegee this one. I actually have. We're going to actually sit in front of my BlackBerry without a camera. So yeah, I've squeegeed it out a bit. You can still see the specs, but hopefully there will be no further. This thing seems to be, I just wiped it down, this seems to be in place and set. As you can see on the peels, there are also spots if you so desire, and I do not. You can see that there are, you can cover the rest of your BlackBerry with this. The sides, both sides, the back, the top. I'm going to hold off on those. It's personal preference, obviously, but my two main concerns are obviously the battery cover and the screen. So now we have a new protected BlackBerry. As you can see, other than the borders, other than the line around the camera hole, it's really tough to see. So if you're looking to protect your BlackBerry, take a look at BodyGuardz. Maybe it'll be something you can use to avoid having your BlackBerry get scratched in your pocket like mine. For BBGeeks, I'm Joe, and stay tuned for our next how-to video.